In today's climate, nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights today. Shoot better. Stay safer. Crimson Trace.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, a monster kills 9 in a South Carolina church. The president calls for even more gun control. And the gun ban industry proclaims that self-defense with a gun is a myth. Tom talks about the truth, the lies, and the phony studies. What's your take? Call Tom at 866-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Well, hello. I'm Tom Gresham. I'm glad that you could be with us. It is Gun Talk. We're going to be talking about guns and obviously the news of the day of the week. It is Father's Day also. It is June 21st, the longest day of the year in terms of the number of daylight hours in the Northern Hemisphere. It's also, and I will be getting to this a little bit later on, my dad, his birthday was June 21st, so we'll have a little bit of talk about my dad on Father's Day, what it was like growing up. I didn't know it. When you're a kid, you don't know this stuff. I didn't know that he was famous and he was like a top gun writer, hunting writer, fishing guy in the country. It was just fun. It was a great way to grow up, and I'll have some stories for you there. Also looking for your stories about shooting and hunting with your dad, those connections that you have. But of course, and also if you'd like to join us, it's easy. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here, or 866-825-5486. Or just dial 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. We'll also have some news about a brand new technological advancement that we at Gun Talk have created for you, available right now. We'll have that information for you, as well as some other things going on, some fun things and some giveaways we'll be doing. But, you've been talking about it. Heck, everybody's been talking about it. A monster walks into a church in Charleston, South Carolina. He sits among good people who are all trying to be even better people. They're doing Bible study. He sits there stewing and brooding and hating. And then finally, you know the story. And our president, immediately following the concept of never let a crisis go to waste, declares that this is a gun control issue. Crazy man, evil man, monster goes in and kills these people, and it's a gun control issue. Yes, because of course, as any right-thinking person would understand, had there been one more gun control law, in addition to the 20,000 gun laws we currently have, if we had just had that one more, this guy certainly would have said, oh, God, I can't break a gun law. I plan to murder all these people, but if I did that, I would be breaking a gun law. I would never do such a thing. So yes, certainly it makes all the sense in the world, Mr. President, that the solution to this is more gun control. We have people who are willing to murder people in churches. We have people who not just are willing, they are eager to murder kindergartners. They are eager, willing, and able to kill, to murder, to behead people to further whatever their cause is. This is evil personified. They don't give a tinker's damn about your gun control laws, sir. And the only way you're going to stop them is when they either get tired of it and shoot themselves, or somebody shows up with a gun and shoots them. That's it. That's all you got. It's beyond offensive that this moron in the White House keeps pushing this failed program of gun control laws when we know they don't work and we know what does work? This was yet another gun-free zone. The law in South Carolina prohibited any of the good guys from having their guns with them in the church. And being the good guys, being the law-abiding people, they didn't have a firearm with them in the church. Being a bad guy, the monster took his gun in there. Is there a pattern possibly that we can find somewhere? The Navy Yard shootings, gun-free zone. Fort Hood, twice, gun-free zone. Newtown, gun-free zone. Good guys don't have the guns. Bad guys take them in because they don't care about your stupid gun-free zones. And as a result, good people get killed. Kindergartners get killed. Military personnel get killed. And you're telling us the solution to this is yet another stupid gun control law? Are you mental? Have you lost all connection to reality, sir? And to the media, what planet are you on that you listen to this drivel and you don't challenge it? There's no logic in it. There's no sense in it. There's nothing about this that makes any sense. To think that the person who is willing to murder people would somehow be dissuaded from his actions because there's some kind of law that he shouldn't get the gun or have the background check or shouldn't carry it past the sign. In a minute, when I come back, I want to have this conversation with you. Your thoughts about this, I'm particularly interested in. How are you explaining this to people? What are you hearing? And I will add this. For the first time in a long time, I'm hearing in the national media, not just on Fox, but on CNN and even on MSNBC, and I listen to all of them, look at all of them, I am seeing people say, probably would have been better if somebody there had had a gun. You think? Yeah. Maybe somebody could have stopped it. Not prevented it. Understand, there are two different things. One is prevention, and we like to wail and moan and gnash our teeth about how can we prevent it. You can't. Let me say that again. You can't. But you can stop it before it goes too far. How do you do that? You can shoot the SOB. That's what you do. It works. Every time it happens, it works. When you shoot them, they stop shooting the good guys, don't they? 866-TALK-GUN. I'll have a whole lot more to say about this on the other side.
To be truly protected, if you use your firearm in self-defense, you need to carry more than just a gun. You need to carry firearms legal protection. If something happens, you get the very best legal representation. So protect your family. Add your financial security for less than $10 a month. Learn more at firearmslegal.com. That's firearmslegal.com. If you're going to carry, you better carry firearms legal protection.
If you're gonna carry, you better carry firearms legal protection.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Battle Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
The Black Hills. There's nothing like it on Earth. The kind of place where characters become legends. Wild Bill Hickok, Crazy Horse, Calamity Jane. Pick any part of the world and you'll find people go there to make it their own. But this is where people come to get made. This is the place that made the people who make the best ammo on Earth. Black Hills Ammunition.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. shopguntalk.com.
If you're looking for a safe and trusted way to sell your firearms, look no further than Dury's Gun Shop. I trusted them to sell my dad's collection. They built their business for over 50 years on honesty and customer service. Dury's Guns will buy any size collection or estate, none too big or too small. Selling your firearms to Dury's Guns is easy. Go with the pros. I trust Dury's Guns. Dury'sGuns.com. Yesterday I was doing the grandfather thing. I was attending a dance recital for my granddaughter. Had a whole bunch of these little girls, young, anywhere from 4 to probably 16, 17 years old. But a lot of them in that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old range. And I'll bring this together for you. As I'm sitting there watching this, if you've been to one of these, you know it goes on and on and on. I'm thinking about the shooter in Charleston, South Carolina. And I'm thinking about Adam Lanza, the shooter at Newtown. And I'm thinking, these are the young children that Adam Lanza wanted to kill as many as he could, and did. And it, once again, came together for me. And what I would offer for you, for your consideration, yes, we could get all excited about the politics of this, and Obama, he's not going to get anywhere with this. Look, this guy in South Carolina, he actually bought this gun himself, passed the federal background check. So those who say we should have background checks, already have them. He got through them. What else do you want? Oh, you just want guns to not be available at all. You want to ban them. Okay, got it, understand. But I'm thinking about the magnitude of evil that is there. This level of evil, and there's nothing else you can call it. You say he's crazy, he's on drugs, he's yeah, do all that stuff. It's evil. There are some really evil people. And I'm thinking about this room where I am with all these parents here, and I'm thinking about the what ifs. And I do what ifs all the time. It's part of the color code. I'm in condition white while I'm at home. When I step out the door, I am no longer in condition white, and I better not return to it until I get home. I better be aware. I better be thinking. I better be doing the what ifs. What if somebody comes in that door? Where are we going to go? What if somebody comes in that door? What are we going to do? What if somebody does this? What am I going to do? Doesn't make me paranoid, doesn't make me crazy. I just glance around and go, okay, got it, understand, I got a plan. So I'm not trying to come up with a plan. And I'm thinking, on the one hand, you could say it's not my job to take action, but perhaps I can say it is my duty. Would you not? If someone came in to hurt all these little children, how could you not? And if you are trained, and if you are competent with your firearm, and why wouldn't you be? I don't understand why you wouldn't be. How could you not? How would you not? Why would you not be prepared, have what you need, have a plan, have the tools you need to help other people, to save children, to save churchgoers, to save the people around you, to stop this guy? And here's the thing. Everybody's wailing and just whining about how can we prevent this? You can't, dummy. We had a guy that just drove a car into a bunch of people and killed 3 of them in Austria. You can't prevent this stuff. Crazy is out there. Evil is out there. What you can do, and what we have done successfully many times, is to stop it before it goes too far. Generally, with a well-placed application of bimetal projectiles, copper and lead. Shoot the SOB. And then I love this. People say, yeah, but what if somebody in the church had pulled out a gun and started shooting and hit the wrong person? Wow, that would have been bad. And then maybe you shot the bad guy and stopped him. And instead of 9 dead, maybe there's 3 or 2 or 1 dead. And it would have been terrible. Suck it up. Life's not perfect. Life's hard. So I guess the question, let's bring it down to the personal level for you. Because I've been really working on this, because I think this is where we kind of get our minds together on this and say, okay, what are we going to do? How can we, this is going to sound horrible. Is there a way that we can learn something from this? Is there a way that we can, quote unquote, benefit from such a horrible thing? If it helps you to get your mind right about the dangers, about preparation methods, about making a commitment, then maybe you can pull something positive from something that's so terrible. Here's what I mean by that. When you get up in the morning, here's what you need to understand. There's somebody out there who wants to kill you. Yes, you, particularly. Yes, specifically you. I don't care who you are. There's somebody out there who wants to kill you. Could be a terrorist, could be a bad guy, could be a crazy man. You may not meet him today, it may be a week, it may be a month, it may be never in your life, but there's somebody out there who wants to and is willing to kill you. And is willing and wants to kill your wife. And is willing and wants to kill your children. And is willing and wants to kill your grandchildren. And cut their heads off and put it on video. Not overseas. We already had a beheading in Oklahoma. Give me a break. So if you wake up in the morning and as you put on your clothes, you're thinking somebody out there very possibly is going to try to kill me or my wife or my husband or my children today, am I prepared for that? If not, can I ask you, why not? If you're listening to Gun Talk, you have at least some interest in guns. You can take a class. You can become better. You can become competent, man, woman, teenager, in your 20s, doesn't matter. You can actually get to be very good. You'll be better than 85 to 90% of the patrol officers who are on the street out there. Yes, better than most of the police officers. Just the way it is. Any cop will tell you the same thing. If you truly understand that there's evil walking the streets and it's liable to walk up behind you or in front of you at any given time, then you have to take some kind of steps. I mean, if you knew that there was somebody walking through your neighborhood with a Molotov cocktail just trying to figure out which house he's going to set on fire, would you not take some steps about that? Would you at least get a fire extinguisher? And then we have the people who say, well, what did I hear it this morning, CNN? What is it going to take to make Americans feel safer in church? I don't give a damn if you feel safer. I want you to be safer. Do you understand the difference? Feel safe. That's what people want to talk about when they're unwilling to do anything. Being safe requires you to take action. Get some training. Get your gun. Get some more training. Practice a lot. Get some more training. Make a commitment. Make a commitment. Make a commitment. When you put on your clothes in the morning, you have your firearm with you. People say, well, I can't carry everywhere. Okay. Make a call on it. Carry where you can. Carry where you're willing. And maybe as much as possible, don't go where you can't. And if you're in a state that doesn't let you, I have one 4-letter word for you. Move. I know, easy for me to say, right? Yeah. But honestly, really, think about it. If you live in a place where they say you can't take care of your children, We will legally prevent you. If you do things to help take care of your children, we will put you in jail. Why would you live in such a place? Why would you not move? And then the president has the gall to say, this doesn't happen in other countries. Really? Seriously? You could say that with a straight face, and the media doesn't even challenge you on it? Holy cow. Happens all the time. Germany, Finland, Norway, mass shootings, bombings. It happens. And then the president says, I refuse to accept this as the new normal. Well, duh, it's not the new normal. It's the old normal. There have always been crazy people. There have always been evil people out there. There's not a lot of it. And your chances of being killed in a mass shooting are pretty darn low. In fact, you are 1,000 times more likely to die of Parkinson's disease than you are to die of a mass shooting. And then the Violence Policy Center, that goofball group in D.C. that the media loves to quote, comes out with another one of their faked-up, bogus, quote-unquote, studies that said people don't use guns for self-defense. That's a myth. People just don't use guns for self-defense because they just don't kill very many people in self-defense. So they compare the number of people murdered with the number of people who were shot in justifiable homicide. Obviously, completely ignoring, on purpose, that you can stop a bad guy without killing him. If you shoot him and hurt him and they don't die, well, Violence Policy Center, that's not good enough. You got to kill them to count. You got to run up your scorecard. You got to have some dead bodies here. Otherwise, you're not really stopping crime. Just saw the video of the clerk who pulled his gun on the bad guy. Bad guy walks in, pulls a gun on the clerk. The clerk just swats away his gun and pulls his own pistol, doesn't shoot him, just says, get out of here. Me? I count that as a successful use of a gun in self-defense, but not the guys doing this quote-unquote study. And so the media parrots it. The president puts it out there. So the question is, as you have cogitated on this, and I know you have, where have you ended up? Has it changed your level of commitment? Has it changed the way you're thinking? 866-TALK-GUN. Let's talk about this. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk. 866-TALK-GUN.
Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
Just printed this out. Top Democrat advisor, quote, cannot imagine the horror, close quote, if South Carolina churchgoers were armed. I have noticed an acute lack of imagination, an acute lack of the ability to understand. I hear it's unfathomable that someone would go into a church, a place of worship, to shoot people. I cannot imagine the horror. You need a better imagination, Bob. He says, this is Bob Shrum, Democratic advisor. Now I cannot imagine the horror that could have occurred if people were sitting around with concealed weapons. This thing started and you have a full-scale gunfight. Sir, I think we had a full-scale massacre. You might not even have 3 survivors, said Mr. Shrum, a top campaign aide to now Secretary of State John Kerry during his failed 2004 presidential bid. Cannot imagine, unfathomable. Forget those people. For you, here's what you need. You need to fathom, you need to imagine, you need to understand. You need to make real in your mind, this is real. There are people who will do this, who want to do this. They will try to do it again. They will do it again. So I go back to the Sean Connery character in The Untouchables, where he says, what are you prepared to do? What are you prepared to do? It really is pretty much that simple, isn't it? You're with your family members. you're with your friends, somebody comes in and starts killing people. If you can't imagine it, you can't prepare for it. It's the same thing we heard from the government. It says, we never imagined that someone would fly an airplane into a building. Well, you know what? Damn it, it's your job to imagine that. You just need a better imagination. Because if you can't think of it, you can't prepare for it. If you can't imagine it, you can't prepare for it. Well, I can imagine it. I know what they do. 866-TALK-GUN. Line 4, Rick's with us out of Houston, Texas. Rick, you're on Gun Talk.
Tom, first, we can't let our adversaries define us incorrectly. Hitler was a liberal. He founded the National Socialist Party. He turned Germany into a gun-free zone. He took religion out of public life and schools. He humiliated, attacked, brutalized, and killed all those people who disagreed with him. And he blamed other people, particularly Jews, but also blacks, for all of his problems and Germany's problems. This kid worshiped him. This kid was not a conservative, not a right-wing fanatic. He was a liberal. And when you talk to people who disagree with you, who are liberals, they immediately go to name-calling and emotion and no logic.
Well, there's certainly, I will give you, there's some of that out there. Now, if you've listened for any length of time, I do not like to do the split between the liberals and conservatives because I think it's a false split. There are a lot of liberals, self-described liberals, who are very good on gun rights. We have some elected Republicans in Congress who are the worst ever at trying to take away our gun rights. So I think the whole conservative-liberal split not only doesn't serve us well, I actually think it harms us in many cases. And it's comfortable because it's part of what we like. Everybody's human nature to find some group that we can be better than, as opposed to it's harder to say these are ideas that I disagree with, and I'm looking for people who would join me. And I don't care if you're left, right, center, up, down. I don't care if you're from Mars or Pluto. If you will help me on this issue, I'll take your help. That's more uncomfortable for some people. Rick, I appreciate the call. Ted's in Farmington, New Mexico. Ted, you're on Gun Talk. Ted, you there? Sound like he's driving down the road there. Go ahead, Ted.
Hey, Tom, I'm not trying to ruffle anybody's feathers or anything, and I'm definitely not for gun control, but why are we not focusing on a greater problem where we have 36 people a day dying from drunk drivers? Why is it when we have a mass shooting, such as what happened in South Carolina, it becomes a major thing, but whenever you add up the numbers, daily more people die from drunk drivers than handguns or rifles or any other kind of firearm in the United States?
Hey, you won't get any argument from me, Ted. I agree with you. Of course, now, you also got to understand, I do have the solution for drunk driving. Nobody has the guts to do it or the will to do it. The analogy I use is, look, if you get in a car and you have been drinking and you are incapacitated, you did it to yourself, you have impaired yourself, and you go and drive and you endanger everybody you pass on the road. I see no difference between that and walking into a mall and pulling a gun, closing your eyes, and spinning around and shooting a bunch of bullets. Well, you didn't intend to hit anybody. Yeah, it just happened. I can end drunk driving in this country. It's real simple. First offense, you lose your car and you go to jail for 5 years. Done. First offense. Oh, yeah, there's no going down to reckless driving or any of that. First offense, you lose your car and you go to jail. Done. It's over. There's a choice. So, yeah, we could take care of that if we had the guts. And I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, on this particular issue, gun control is not really, and look, there's a gun control industry. It's not really out there to help us solve crime or reduce crime or save lives. It's really about controlling people. It's about being able to tell people what to do with their lives, there is, in fact, not a single example of a gun control law that has reduced crime. Isn't that interesting? Not a single gun control law has ever reduced crime. We have millions more guns, but crime has gone down over the last 20 years. 40% down on gun crime. Amazing. How can that possibly be? 866-TALK-GUN.
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition, and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit sigsauer.com today.
Who will you trust with your guns and valuables? Liberty safes are the best built and most secure safes on the planet. They sell more gun safes than any other brand. It's about trust earned through performance. If your Liberty safe is damaged by fire or attempted break-in, they'll send a new safe right to your home. Protection from thieves and fire. Trust the #1 maker of quality gun safes. LibertySafe.com.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
All right, back with the 866-TALK-GUN. Lloyd on line 2 has been with us for a while on hold. Thank you, Lloyd, for your patience. You're on Gun Talk.
Good afternoon. I have a question concerning Alliant powder. I have known for many decades that smokeless powder burns. It does not explode. However, this powder company, which makes Bullseye, Red Dot, Green Dot, Unique, and probably a bunch of other stuff, labels their product as an explosive. And I was wondering if you had any insight as to why would a manufacturer intentionally mislabel their product?
I don't know, but I tell you what, it's because as you know, I also know that smokeless powder is not explosive. It's a propellant. It burns. It does not explode. There's a difference. Black powder is in fact an explosive. I tell you what I'll do. I can find out. I'll ask somebody at Alliant and find out, how come? Because that kind of flies in the face of what we've all known for all these years. So I was not aware of that, Lloyd, but I appreciate the heads up. And as soon as I find out something, I'll put it out on the air. Thank you for your call, sir. Let's go line 3. Larry's with us out of Kentucky. Larry, you're on Gun Talk.
Hey, thanks, Tom. I actually wanted to give a range report on a couple of guns that I haven't heard you talk much about. I know that you shot an MPX, but you got the honor of shooting one that was full auto. I actually shot a semi-auto, and it was a lot of fun, but I kept looking for the switch to go to select fire, and unfortunately, it didn't have it. But I'm sure it's probably a lot cheaper to run that particular gun.
It's a cool gun, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's a little front-heavy, and I asked about that. But unfortunately, if you put a front foregrip on it, the ATF considers that a rifle, and now you've got an SBR, and they don't allow that.
Isn't that weird? You got just because you put a handle on it, it becomes a prohibited item. Oh my gosh!
No, what's actually more weird is the fact that it has a stabilizer on the back. And if you put that to your shoulder, now you have an illegal firearm. But as long as you don't put it to your shoulder, you're okay. That's weird.
Don't even get me started on that one.
So, and then the other one that And I actually ran into you at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, and I promised you I'd eventually call in. I know it's been a while, but I have a Kiop Arms 50DS, and quite honestly, I got the gun. It had a little bit of a timing issue, contacted the manufacturer, sent it back in. Not only did it come back with perfect timing, but the trigger was that much better as well. And that gun is just an unbelievable hoot to shoot.
This is the revolver that shoots from the lower side of the cylinder?
Exactly right. And it's got a fiber optic front sight, and your follow-up shots are very, very quick just because the recoil goes straight back into your hand. And even though the grip looks like it would be uncomfortable, it's an extremely comfortable gun.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. You got a low bore axis, and the recoil comes straight back rather than having the leverage of twisting upward in your hand. So it's a pretty interesting concept. Well, I appreciate that, Larry. Thank you for the info and the range report, sir. I do appreciate that. By the way, we are giving away stuff. If you go to guntalk.com/win, you can enter for a chance to win one of 4 handgun vaults from Liberty Safe, given away with the AC adapter, 9-volt battery. And go to guntalk.com/win, and we'll be giving 4 of those away. Pretty cool. Also, okay, I'm going to take a couple of minutes of your time. If you have a smartphone, we have something for you. It's free. Been working on this for about 6 months. Didn't think it was going to take 6 months, but it did. It's a brand new app. It's free. It's from us, the Gun Talk folks. It's called Gundealio. It's basically where you get good deals on guns, ammo, scopes, optics, all the promotions that are out there. Gundealio has them. If you go to Gundealio, it's Gundealio, kind of like what's the dealio? If you go to gundealio.com, it'll have the links. It works on iPhone and Android. It's free. You get all the latest deals on everything. And also it has a really cool feature we don't know if anybody's done this for guns. It's called geolocation alerts. When you go into a gun store, you'll get alerts about special deals. So it's pretty cool. So when you get it, you definitely want to turn on the location notifications and all of that, so you'll get the cool deals when you go into gun stores. So it's called Gundealio. I tell you what, download it. Leave us a message. It's brand spanking new, so we would like to have as many good reviews as we can get, obviously. But let us know what you think about it. And if you have tried it, a few of you probably have, give me a holler. Let me know how it's working for you. Let's see here. We got time, I believe. Let me get, yes, Lee on line 4, Eastern Washington. Lee, you're up.
Hello, good to hear you speaking about these weighty matters. I'm reminded once that Magnum PI said approximately, the little voice in the back of my head told me it was something that was wrong. I'd learned to listen to that voice. So we come into a book, not by Ayub, books I've read and I'm very impressed by. This one's called The Gift of Fear. The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker. It says, if you've survived to adulthood, you know far more than you think you know. So again, you can listen to that little voice in your head. It's real. Just like you said, just because you don't think it's out there doesn't mean it's not.
By the way, this is a great book. It came out in 1998. It's like $6 on Amazon for the paperback version. And what it tells us, Lee, and I've thought about this a lot, same thing, is, as we get older, we kind of dumb down our survival instincts, and we don't listen to that little voice. We don't pay attention. We think, I didn't feel right. I don't know. I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to embarrass somebody else. I don't want to not walk over there because those two guys look a little shady over there. Even though this bell's going off in the back of your head, we've been able to tone it down to where we almost can't even hear it anymore. We've got to retune ourselves to listen to that. The survival instincts are there. It's a great recommendation. The book is called The Gift of Fear, and it's by Gavin de Becker. It's an oldie, but it's absolutely a goodie. And in terms of your continually updating your knowledge base and your awareness, this is one that I can recommend. It is, it's not just about guns and everything else. It's about everything, all the other parts of just being aware and alert and taking care of yourself and your family. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. This is Gun Talk. Hey, coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to have U.S. Congressman Rob Bishop's going to be joining us. He's from Utah with a bill that he has introduced It's really to support and expand and protect the Second Amendment. A lot of good information going on there. Let's see here. Brian's on line 2 out of Aurora, Missouri. Hey, Brian, you're up.
Hey, Tom, happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Hey, I've got a question. If Obama gets his way, does that mean the Secret Service is going to start carrying slingshots?
Oh, you know that every gun control law they pass, they always have an exemption for law enforcement. Now, in Obama's case... Are they truly law enforcement? Aren't they their own separate entity? In Obama's case, he hates the Secret Service anyway. He's just despises them, he and his family, and they treat them very badly. I know some people who've been very close to that, and you get these stories. It's incredible. But, no, that's not going to happen. I mean, he's going to be protected by guns, just like Michael Bloomberg, the billionaire gun banner, is protected by people with guns. They're all going to be protected by people with guns because they're special. They're a whole lot more special than we are. And look, thanks for the call. By the way, Bloomberg has started a new news service. What do they call it? The Trace. Yeah. It's only going to have news about gun crimes. Not going to have any news about people using guns for self-defense and successfully saving themselves and others. Yeah, that's their idea of news. Oh, my gosh. Ray is on line 3 out of New York. Ray, you're up.
Hey, Tom. I think I have to put a second blood pressure patch on today. I think the blood's shooting out of my eyes at this point. Yesterday, we got treated to Savannah Guthrie, literally ripping into Nikki Haley, saying that, don't you think it's time to rethink the Second Amendment? And now we have Karl Rove, okay, the frat boy with the whiteboard who's always on our favorite cable channel. He's saying it's time to repeal the Second Amendment. Now, Savannah Guthrie I get because she's an absolute flaming leftist who has absolutely no clue about the Constitution or the 2A. Rove is out there trying to inoculate the establishment GOP types in case they blunder into something and say something anti-2A that might anger the voters. And this is really a dangerous precedent to have a man like that with such power in the GOP. He's a shill for the establishment. He's a shill for the Chamber of Commerce.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Look, make no mistake. Nobody should make the mistake of thinking that the Republicans are pro-Second Amendment. They just want our votes, but they'll sell us down the river in a heartbeat, every single one of them. So you have to choose them on the basis of who they are and what they do, and not the R or the D next to their name. I get it. I understand that generally the leadership of the Democrats is a lot more disfavorable toward guns than the leadership of the Republicans. But, you look at Boehner, I mean, he would sell us down the river in a heartbeat. Here's the thing. You talk about people who want to repeal the Second Amendment. I actually kind of admire that approach, because they're at least saying, okay, let's just go right up there and do it. Let's just repeal it. Okay, you want to have that conversation? Let's have it. Instead of sneaking in and tweaking this and saying, well, we're just going to have background checks, except that, of course, with that comes registration and the state having a record of everybody who has a gun. But if you walk up and say, all right, here's the deal. We're just going to repeal it. Okay. Now, what you're going to find is that doesn't have a chance in the world of going anywhere. But at least you kind of have to admire their honesty. It's audacious and it's misguided and it's, in my view, it's stupid. And it's not going to go anywhere. But on a certain level, it's a bit more honest than some of the other stuff, than putting out these phony studies like the Violence Policy Center does, and then the media quotes them saying that self-defense with guns is a myth. Really? Hundreds of thousands of times a year, actually millions of times a year, people use guns to stop crime and save themselves. And here they are saying it's a myth. It's the big lie theory all over again. We'll be right back with a U.S. Congressman.